Excuse me, miss. Excuse me, miss. Thank you for joining me in my studio, miss. Look at these marshmallow feet, so nice. Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. Listen, I got to thinking because we all know how so many products launch in the makeup world, and I was thinking to myself, because I'm assuming you guys consume a lot of beauty content. I'm just assuming since you're here watching this video, and maybe you're somebody who likes to buy a lot of makeup. But then I was like, okay, if you're watching this video and you've bought makeup in the past, are there things that you use every day that like nobody talks about anymore? Because I feel like it's literally my job to keep up with new launches. That's literally what I do for a living. But for you guys at home, I was like, there's gotta be things that you are using on a daily basis still that people maybe stop talking about just because there's new launches all the time, not even because it's not good anymore. So I went to Instagram, I asked you guys, and sure enough, there were thousands of responses talking about products that you guys have in your everyday routine that you feel like no one talks about anymore. So guess what? I'm doing a full face using those products. I've got them all in my little makeup bag here. We're gonna start off with one that I saw submitted a couple of times, and that is this right here from Laneige, the Glowy Makeup Serum. There was a hot minute where I was using this all the time. Guys, it's crazy to me how many amazing products just kind of get forgotten about online, you know, even if you guys at home, or even if I don't forget about it personally, it feels like the internet forgets so quickly. So anyway, this is a beautiful product. It's been a while since I've used it, so I'm actually really excited to revisit some of these things because hopefully it encourages you guys and validates you guys that you're still good to use old products. You know what I mean? Just because it's not a brand new launch doesn't make it not good anymore. It feels so nice on the skin, honestly. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this one submitted, I was like, wait, what? No, I still see people talk about it. And then I was like, actually, I have not seen as many people talk about this as much as they used to. You guys, the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, I know some people still do, you know, but it's not the way it used to be. So I'm gonna actually apply this on the outside of my face. Do you guys feel the same way, or do you follow people that still use that all the time? I feel like the majority of us have that in our collection because, I mean, there was a time where literally everybody was using it. Maybe it's because since the e.l.f. one launched, which is kind of like a dupe, maybe people switched to that one. I don't really know. But I feel like you're right in saying that I haven't really seen as many people talk about it anymore, which is actually nuts. That one shocked me when I really got to thinking about it. This product is a little wild, you guys. This Benefit Porefessional Primer, oh my gosh. Somebody submitted this, and when I saw that, I was like, wait, I need to revisit this. This is actually a brand new one because the other one that I had expired. This is one of the very first high-end makeup products I ever tried. It's just one of those classic primers. It's a very interesting whipped pore-filling texture. So I'm gonna use this in the center of the face to smooth everything. Oh my gosh, the smell even takes me back to like, let me think about this. I think it was 2014 that I discovered this product, and it was in like this little Benefit full face kit. I honestly wonder if I could find a picture of that kit. If I can, I'll put it on the screen. If I can't, maybe somebody knows what I'm talking about. But I remember I was in college. I had only really ever spent money on drugstore products up until that point. And I went to Sephora. I had to drive like an hour to Sephora because it was at the mall, which was an hour away from my campus. And I remember seeing this collection. I think it was like $30 or something for like a little tester set, like a full face. Anyway, I remember that being in it, and that was the first time I tried it. It was a little sample, but still, it counts. Somebody submitted the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundations, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't used those in so long. And what's crazy about this product specifically is I feel like this took over the internet for a hot minute there a few years ago. So it's just nuts to me that like these products aren't used as much anymore. Okay, I'm gonna mix the shade Bisque and Shell. Normally I think I just use Shell. I don't really know why I put Bisque all over. Honestly, I feel like I could be a completely different shade than what these two are, but this is what I have. So we're just gonna go with it. And I'm just gonna start buffing that out all over the skin. I've never used that on top of the Benefit Pore Primer, so not really sure how all these formulas are gonna mesh together, but that's okay. We're gonna do our best. This really does smooth out the skin. Wow, it looks really nice. It has great coverage too. You don't need that much to get really nice pigment payoff. I do feel like the undertone of these are a little bit off for me. I think I need a lighter shade, but it's okay. We'll make it work. I'm gonna take my sponge and just kind of press this into the skin. For concealer, I actually saw this mentioned a few times, And this one was shocking too, to see so many people talk about how they feel like they don't see people talking about it anymore. And honestly, I don't really either. And honestly, I haven't used it myself in a while. And that is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I'm happy that you guys are still using some of these things every day, as you should, right? But it's kind of crazy how quickly things disappear out of the spotlight, you know? So I'm just gonna apply that under the eyes and a little down the center of the face just to brighten things up. All right, for cream bronzer, somebody said the e.l.f. Putty bronzer. Specifically, I literally will choose it over any other bronzer I own. So I grabbed this. This is in the shade Tan Lines. And let's use this to kind of warm things up on the face. I do have a powder bronzer as well that I'm gonna use a little later, but let's start with this. Gosh, that is really pretty. The way it just seamlessly blended out onto the skin, I love how that looks. I was so excited to see somebody mention this because it gave me an excuse to use it again. The Nikkia Joy Cosmetics Velvet Finishing Powder, this stuff is so good. And I agree, I haven't seen people talk about it in a hot minute. Again, you know, it's impossible to see everyone's content all the time, but I'm so excited to use this again because it is so stunning. It's been a hot minute since I've used it, so I'm just gonna use this all over the face to set. All right, next we're gonna use a bronzer that was submitted, and that is the Benefit Hoola bronzer. Are you kidding me? This is a throwback. They've actually since updated the packaging, that this is my old one. So I'm gonna pop a bit of this on top of where we applied the e.l.f. bronzer, just to further warm things up. Okay, this next product, I'm a little nervous to try. Well, I've used it before, but I'm nervous to use it again, I should say. It's just been so long, and that is the Anastasia Dipbrow. The person who submitted this said, with a light hand for a more natural look. So I actually just barely got like a restock of a ton of Anastasia products, and they actually sent Dipbrow, which it's just been a long time since I've used it. So I'm gonna use Dipbrow. I'm also gonna use the Anastasia number 12 brush. Guys, this used to be like my go-to brow product. I used to do my brows first with this product. I just realized, I just remembered right now. So hopefully it works and looks good. I have the shade Ash Brown, which they didn't have at the time that I was obsessed with this. So I think this could be a really pretty match for me. I used to just kind of warm it up on the back of my hand a little. Okay, wish me luck. I'm just gonna start kind of painting in the brow a little bit more light-handed than what I used to do. Okay, this is looking so much more natural than what I remembered in my mind. Like, doesn't that look so good? Maybe it's the color. I don't know. Like, this ash brown color is kind of a little more subtle, I guess. It definitely takes a lot longer, at least right now, since I'm out of practice with this product. It takes longer for me than the typical brow pencil, but the results are really nice. What in the world? Is this a sign that we need to like bring Dipbrow back into our lives, you know? Just in a different way, with a bit of a lighter hand? I don't know. I'm really happy with how that looks. I feel like I could spend more time on it, but I'm just gonna stop there. I love the color though. Yeah, the ash brown I feel like works really well for my hair color. I love it. All right, for eyeshadow, there was a few palettes that were suggested, some of which were discontinued or limited edition, so I wanted to use one that like you can still get. And so I wanted to use the Anastasia Nouveau palette. It's been a minute since I've used this as well. It's such a pretty eyeshadow palette. So let's start out with this color right here called Fleur. What's funny is this palette isn't even that old, you know what I mean? But it's just crazy how already it feels like people aren't creating that many looks with it, at least online, okay? You gotta remember that. I'm sure people at home are still using what they have, but the internet just moves so fast when it comes to makeup. I'm gonna take a bit of that Fleur color and go on the lower lash line as well. Now I'm taking the shade Paloma, which is that kind of bone color. And I'm just going around the edges of the Fleur color to just kind of make it a little bit softer. And then, let's see, what do I want to do? You know, I've been missing this shade right here. This is a stunning shade from the palette, if it will focus. Hello. Lily right there. Let's take that on our fingertips and just pat that onto the eyelid. This is such a pretty color. And then let's take a little bit of, let's go warm. Let's take the shade Metro, which is kind of like a toasted rosy terracotta. I'm just gonna pop that on the outer corner of the eye. Honestly, I probably should have done my eyes first, now that I think of it, but oh well. Here we are. I'm just gonna apply that to the outer third of the lower lash line as well. For mascara, somebody said the Lash Idôle from Lancôme, and I was like, wait, yes. I don't see people talking about this anymore, and it's one of my personal faves. I actually just bought a new bottle of it because I missed it so much. So I'm just gonna apply that to the top and bottom lashes. That mascara looks so pretty on the lashes. I love it. The MAC Glow Play blushes were mentioned a couple of times, so I wanted to make sure to use this. I wanted to use the shade Blush Please. I'm gonna use this on a brush. This is such a cool formula. It's like a putty. I'm just gonna apply that with a brush onto the apples of the cheeks. That color actually matches the eyeshadow look really well. Oh man, I was meaning to apply highlighter first. I guess it's not that big of a deal, just because that's more of like a creamy putty formula, and the highlighter I'm gonna use is a little bit more dry and powdery, so I think it'll still layer on top of each other nicely, but I forgot. This highlighter, when I saw somebody submit this, I was like, oh my goodness. It has been way too long. Guys, the Mary Luminizer by Thebalm. Are you kidding me? This highlighter had us all in a chokehold, I feel. And I have not used it in so long. It's probably very expired at this point, but I don't even care. I'm popping it on. Look how pretty. Oh my goodness gracious. That is such a beautiful, beautiful color and formula. It's just like gives life to the skin. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm just gonna press it into the skin and into the blush with my sponge. And then for lips, I couldn't find like a specific lip liner, at least not when I went through the responses. So I'm just gonna use my own lip liner. Let's see. Let's use maybe Pat McGrath contour, I think. That might look pretty because it's kind of got like a peachy undertone. And then guess what? We're gonna use a classic MAC Velvet Teddy. A lot of you guys said you love to use MAC lipsticks in general and you just feel like no one talks about them the way that they used to anyway. So here we go. I'm gonna apply Velvet Teddy to the lips. Oh, look how nicely that matches the eyeshadow palette. I didn't even realize how well those would match. And then I saw somebody mention this gloss and I was like, oh my gosh, I was almost mad at myself for forgetting about this personally. The Milani Keep It Full lip gloss in the shade Champagne. You guys know how much I love this gloss. Oh my gosh, how dare I forget about this. Thank you so much for reminding me of the stunning gloss shade. Look at that. Ah, it's beautiful. All right, I'm just looking at everything we've got going on. I feel like the eyes need a little something. So I'm actually gonna take a bit of the Hoola bronzer, just kind of like warm up the crease a little bit with that. And I'll pop a little bit on the lower lash line, I guess, as well. And then I'm gonna add a little more bronzer just with whatever's left on the brush to the forehead. Golly, that highlighter is really doing the most for me. I mean, that's insane. Oh, it's so pretty. I actually feel like I want a little pop of highlighter in the inner corner of my eye, so I'm gonna take that Mary Luminizer right here and a little bit of what's left underneath the brows. Somebody said the Pixi Hydrating Milky Mist. I used to use this all the time. So I'm gonna use it to set the face. Oh, this smells so good. And then I'm gonna press that setting spray into the skin with my sponge. And then I came across a couple of brow gels, but I didn't actually have the ones you guys mentioned. So I'm just gonna use the Anastasia brow gel, which technically, I guess, could be something that I feel like nobody talks about anymore. I'm certainly talking about it right now because it's newer to me, believe it or not, but this used to be all the rage back in the day. So there you have it. That completes this makeup look. Let me know in the comments if some of these things were throwbacks or if some of these things you're like, yes, I still use those every day. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you missed out on the opportunity to submit a product that you feel like you use every day that no one talks about anymore over on my Instagram, make sure you just leave a comment. I would love to keep the conversation going. It's crazy to me how these things have just disappeared on the internet, but like they're so good and a lot of you guys still use them, so they deserve to be talked about and used more. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I loved revisiting some of these products. I love how my makeup turned out, so thank you for reminding me to use these products. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you.